It's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and today I'm going to be answering your questions that you asked me on Instagram. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, please follow me now so that you can keep up with things like my Instagram story. And I also post beautiful daily pictures on there of all of my desserts and creations. So let's get into it. All right, since I record off of my phone, I needed to type out the questions here. So with the first one, cake you spent the most time on and the least time on. So I think the cake that I spent the absolute most time on was my sister's baby shower cake. And I will put a picture of it here right now. So there you can see it has a lot of detail on it. I have shown this cake in several different videos talking about different things. But what took the most time on this was the fact that I had to hand make every single rose that you see there. The roses that I created then, I have a new technique on how to create roses a lot more quickly now, but back then I individually cut every single petal, and I actually don't have any styrofoam balls or anything in those roses, so it took a considerable amount of time. On top of that, I also had to hand paint all of those roses. I didn't have an airbrush machine at the time either, so it took up a lot of time, and my friend actually helped me work on this cake as well. We glittered that whole tier together, and she worked on the carriage portion, and then I added all the details on the carriage portion. So I would say that this took me the longest just because it took me a few days to complete this on top of having my friend help me do this whole thing. So yeah, a lot of work. And which cake took me the least amount of time? Well, pretty much all of these cakes here. Anything that has a rosette or is messy iced or is naked iced is super quick. And so I really suggest that if you're not into spending a lot of time on your cakes, but you want something beautiful, that you make something like this. Question number 2, best and worst party you've ever thrown. Well, I know I've thrown a lot of bad parties before, but not because of anything baking related. But I'm going to assume that that is decoration, party table related. And I would have to say that my worst party was probably this one right here. There's nothing super wrong with it. It was just kind of boring. And I thought that it would be this magical, wonderful seascape of a table. But unfortunately, it just kind of looked a little lackluster. I was really just starting out doing parties here, so it's no wonder that it didn't look that amazing. My most favorite party, I think it's a bit of a toss-up, but I showed this one in my party video, and I have to say it was my mom's 60th birthday. We called it Diamonds Are Forever, and it was just so nice because my parents' house is completely black and white, so they had an awesome backdrop to create something that was fully white, and it was just so glittery and so sparkly and so me. Number 3, tell us about a baking disaster. You know, I have had so many baking disasters that it's hard to choose just one, but I will say I feel awful about this one. So I was working really part-time at my friend's bakery, and I had already worked like 9 hours, and I was going on my 10th hour of working, and it was this Battle Royale cake, and it had a whole bunch of airbrushing to it, and it was 3 tiers. I don't think I even took a picture of it because it was such a disaster. But the cake itself, when I left it at the shop, it looked wonderful. It looked great. There was a few things here and there that just needed some detailing, but nothing crazy. For some reason, on one of the hottest days of the summer, I decided that a cake that had buttercream in the center and was just covered in fondant, which I recently steamed, didn't need any dowels or supports in it. Yeah, I'm not really sure what was going through my mind. I think I was just so tired, and so I did not put a supporting dowel all the way through. And then when the customers came to pick up that cake, they drove off into the sunset, and then their cake just toppled right over, and it was really not a great time because I was already having a pretty stressful weekend. And then my friend, who was the owner, she texted me being like, hey, not mad or anything, but just so you know, this is what your cake looks like now. And it was just a bunch of mushed up cake in a box. So she ended up having to refund the whole thing, and I just felt so terrible about it. But that's probably one of my worst baking disasters. What's your favorite thing you've ever baked? Easy peasy. My choux pastry au craquelin, I think that's how you say it, and it honestly is the yummiest thing I have ever eaten. Now, of course, I was very proud of myself when I baked my first macaron by myself and it turned out perfectly, but it wasn't as satisfying as when these cream puffs came out of the oven and they tasted so awesome. And the final question, how do you manage being a full-time mom, teaching, and a YouTube channel? So I get this question a lot, more so in my personal life because a lot of people know what I actually do, and maybe some of you on YouTube don't know that. I actually find on my social media a lot of people think that I am a professional baker, that I do this full time, and I don't. I'm actually a full-time elementary music teacher, and obviously right now I am on summer vacation, but I was teaching and doing my YouTube channel at the same time, as well as being a mom. So basically, to walk you through my schedule of how it worked was I would go to work from 8 o'clock to about 3:30. I rush up to go pick up my children from childcare, and then as soon as I get home, I get my kids settled in with an activity or a snack, and then I get to filming. So from Monday to Friday, I try to do things that are a little bit quicker. So sometimes that will be a talking video where I can reuse footage that I've already put together before, but sometimes it is a quick recipe. You'll notice that I did change up the way that I do my videos. When I first started out doing YouTube, I did a lot of just head-on filming and talking as I went, but I did change that, not only because my mic quality was so poor on my phone, but also because when I am making my baked goods, I can be noisy and loud, and the kids can be noisy and loud, and then that way, once they go to bed, that's when I do all of my editing and I do my voiceovers. So sometimes what you're seeing is you're seeing something that I've done that day. So I've literally filmed, edited, created the product, and uploaded and everything. And so that is the life when you want to daily upload. Now, because my channel is very niched to baking, so I do have to do a lot of planning for that, and I do have to think about what things I am going to be using next. So for example, if I've done a cake and I know that a cake is coming up that I have to do for a friend or a family member, then I will plan to do cake pops or something that can use leftover cake later on in the week, or I will do something that can use the leftover buttercream or fillings. So it is a series of making sure that I am using up all my materials. The other tricky thing about daily uploading and being a mom is that I do have to cook dinner and I do have to do all of those other duties when I get home, but settling the children and then filming does come first. I make a lot of quicker, tastier meals like one pot pasta, doing things with rice, just making sure that I am making my life as easy as possible. So sometimes you'll notice that I do upload a little bit later in the day. That's because maybe I've fallen behind on filming videos, and sometimes I do stay ahead of time and do a little batch recording. But batch recording is a lot trickier in my niche just because you are creating a product. So I don't want that product to go to waste. A lot of it gets frozen, or I give it away, or it is for somebody in particular. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of this Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!